You're listening to Something Cheeky,
a collection of podcasts where two sisters discuss TV, books, and movies with just enough irreverence and far too many pop culture references. Welcome to Something Cheeky, the Gentleman Bastards edition, where we discuss the Lies of Locke Lamora, book 1 of the series by Scott Lynch. I'm Nikki.
I'm Rosanna.
Today we're covering the 10th interlude, the tale of the Old Handball Players. In this chapter we learn that revenge is a dish best served piping hot off the griddle, at least according to the Camorri. So this is another really short interlude. Rosanna, what was your revelation for this one?
My revelation was that the Camorri are all crazy.
So you agree with all the other people?
Yes, they said that, and I agree with that.
You're on board?
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite quote?
The quote I chose is just text, because there was a little bit of dialogue, but this was so short. Camorri, on the other hand, regard it as a valuable reminder against procrastinating in the matters of revenge, or, if one cannot take satisfaction immediately, on the virtue of having a long memory. So the part about the virtue of having a long memory makes me think about the Grey King and why is he mad at Barsavi and Locke. And it makes me think of the spider and how she's been around for a long time. And it's sort of this theme that seems like it's starting to kind of pop up, that maybe people have been waiting a while to take revenge on some things. You know, they have long memories.
That's funny, because I only thought about Locke, because I was so focused on revenge for Locke immediately.
Oh, yeah.
I had forgotten already that other people may be taking revenge here.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what got him in this spot. Possibly. I still don't know.
So we know that the Grey King looks familiar to Locke in some way. He's not quite sure why. Your theory is that they're related somehow.
Yes.
Do you think that him looking familiar may have something to do with what is possibly revenge that he's trying to take? It can be a tough connection.
Yeah, I feel pretty secure that the Grey King knows Locke from a previous time.
Okay.
And I think that there is possibly the likely no. And I think there's a chance that they're related somehow. But Locke is not very old, in his 20s. Right. What could he have done so bad at a young age that the Grey King...
You do remember the prologue, right? Locke killed,
Right.
Basically, he's responsible for a bunch of people dying.
I know, but... Okay, so let's say you're... Okay, we don't know how old the Grey King is, right?
He seemed like maybe middle age.
Let's say he's 20 years older than Locke. Let's just go with that. Okay. So, Locke is about 6 or 7 years old when he's making some mistakes, and it's
bad choices
causing people to die. So the Grey King is, let's just guess, 26, 27 years old.
Okay. And
maybe one of the people that Locke killed was important to the Grey King. So he doesn't want to kill Locke when he's 6 or 7, so he waits 20 years. And then gets his revenge. I don't understand. There's this huge gap of time.
Right.
So I can't figure out how to make that work. Unless you bring Father Chains into it.
Okay.
So, how do you like that for my prediction? And honestly, this interlude, I just had about 0% interest in reading it after the last chapter. I was like, I don't even care. And then when I read it, I don't even get Father Chains, or Bug, or Callow, or Galdo.
Oh.
So what's even the point? The whole point at this right now of interludes is to see people that we've lost. So we just lose 3 very important characters, and we're talking about people who play handball right now? So, yeah, I wasn't really into this interlude at all. I was like, fine, I'm going to read it because I'm supposed to, but yeah.
My note was, starts off like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything?
Yep.
It's like a Stanley cameo in a Marvel movie. It's just there to be there.
Just to be there, just to take up some pages until we can get back to what I actually care about.
Maybe make you laugh for a second.
I did not laugh. I was not in the mood for jokes at this point. And I really, really want to read the next chapter.
Yeah.
Not that I'm gonna get back, who we've lost, but now I'm just like stalker clinging to Jean and Locke because they're all we have. And too, at some point, Locke is going to go back and talk to Barsavi, and I wonder if he's going to say, hey, that was me you almost killed. Maybe we should work together to get this guy.
Do you think that would work?
Why wouldn't it work?
He probably wouldn't have to ever admit that it had been him. He could have just said, I'm still mad about Nazca. I'm in. What can I do?
I guess.
I don't think he needs to put himself in danger by admitting he had basically colluded with the Grey King.
But isn't he going to have to admit that if he wants help going after him? Because Barsavi thinks he's dead.
Oh, that's a very good point.
I mean, he's going to have to say that wasn't the Grey King. I suppose he could not say that it was him, that it was somebody else. But he's going to have to say the person that you thought you killed, whether they're actually dead or not, was not the Grey King. The Grey King's not dead. The revenge that you thought... That off. Yeah, the revenge that you thought that you got for Nazca's death was not legitimate.
Ah, yes.
So Barsavi is going to be mad that he didn't get the revenge that he thought he got, and then also that he was tricked about who the Grey King is. Whether he knows he was tricked and it was actually Locke, or he just knows that it... But then he's going to ask Locke, how do you know?
And that doesn't solve the problem of there being a bonds mage.
Right, and Locke can't say, oh, because I was nearby and we opened the cask and we found somebody that wasn't the Grey King. Because he's supposed to be sick in bed while this is happening. So I'm not sure how he's going to be able to get out of telling him. Yeah. I mean, maybe he'll make something up. I mean, maybe he's going to go and say, I feel like I don't have much to lose. The only thing I care about right now is my revenge. I'll tell Barsavi whatever I need to get him on my side. Because... Locke and Jean are great, but they're no 100 warriors.
Yeah.
So...
They have their limits.
And of course, the Falconer is also an issue.
They just need the Spartan warriors. They need the 300 to go with them and back them up.
What they need is somebody...
This is Camorr!
What they need is somebody to sneak up on the Falconer and punch him in the back of the head so he's unconscious long enough to take care of business.
What do you think would happen if someone killed Ventress while the Falconer was watching? Would it be like a Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire Warg, where the person, their consciousness was stuck inside a dead bird, where they had to find another animal to get to survive?
Okay, without knowing actually at all.
That's what this is about. This is about you and your wild theories.
Right. I think that probably his spirit or soul or whatever you want to call it, is not really occupying Ventress. Right. As much as he's magicking his way to see through Ventress's eyes. So I think he would just not be able to see anything anymore.
Yeah, just lose that connection.
It's unfortunate because it might be easier to kill the bird than the man. But
yeah.
I don't think that'll work.
They need someone who's good with a crossbow.
Yeah.
Maybe the Dobart mother-daughter team, the Black Alchemists.
Ooh. Or maybe the scary warrior sisters, they can gang up on him.
Berengias, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like them on my side, really. If I was going into a fight...
Yeah.
Okay, if we were at school in PE and we were picking teams, they'd be top of my list. like say, kickball?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be like, I want the girls.
We haven't seen them in a while either. Were they at the Echo Hall?
I don't remember if they were or not. I don't remember them being there.
Neither do I. But maybe they just...
It seems like they would have been, though. Yeah.
You'd think. Would be,
yeah, I think so.
Because they are Kappa's bodyguards, basically.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about this very strange interlude.
Oh my gosh, it was so weird.
Mostly out of left field.
It was kind of like, did I just put down Lies of Locke Lamora and pick up a completely different book?
When it first started, when I first read this, I remember thinking, is this just to get my mind off of what just happened? To make me just see something completely different? I mean, obviously it circled back around at the end, but I was like, Is this just to make me not feel so strongly anymore?
Well, it didn't work if that's his goal. I was just irritated that it was so disjointed from the previous chapter. I was irritated about it.
We learn a little about handball. Also that a former Mad Emperor Sartorana would amuse himself by bowling with the severed heads of executed prisoners, which sounds like a really ineffective way to bowl.
How could you would never be able to hit pins because you got the nose and the ears in the way?
It's a mess.
It doesn't even make any sense. Plus, just it probably smells and
It's messy.
It's bloody. Yeah, gross.
Ugh. Ugh.
Ugh. All kinds of neck bones and strings hanging out.
Ew.
Do you think that they hook their 2 fingers up in the nose?
Oh, don't do it. Don't you do it.
I can picture that. Gross.
Oh my god. Let's talk about handball.
Okay.
It is a... Well, what else are we going to talk about?
That's true. Let's just say that anybody that read this interlude learned about handball.
Which sounded very similar to football in many ways.
To what?
Football.
Oh, yeah, kind of.
You have a 6-inch wide ball. You've got 20 to 30 yard field with goal lines. There's a referee who's called a justice, who's not always effective, but tries.
Right.
And you have to hold the ball in both of your hands at all times, which, not like football, but I thought that was interesting because there's no easy shoving. So this is not like a rugby situation.
Also, it seems like it'd be hard to run when you're holding the ball with both hands.
Right.
Why is that the rule? That's a really weird rule.
Handicap, yeah.
Yeah. Handicap.
Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
It sounds like, yeah. There are tailgate type parties for days beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And there's betting and drinking and fighting and all sorts of things. And we learn about Marcos and Gervain. Marcos is the fisherman turned very, very talented handball player. And Gervain is the very talented and very fair justice. There is a huge, huge game between neighborhoods. Marcos thinks he makes the final goal, and Gervain says it is not a goal. And there's a riot.
That's like football. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people died in this riot. They think the Yellow Jackets themselves killed between 12 and 100 people just trying to contain it.
That's a broad number.
It really is. And about 10 kappas of small groups died.
That was crazy.
Because of all the betting.
Yeah.
And then Marcus and Gervain ceased to be friends. It was very sad. 35 years later, the first Duke Nicovanti came to power. So at some point there must have been some sort of power change. Because that does seem hereditary.
Yeah.
The dukedom. Or dukey, as I'm going to call it.
A douche.
Douche. And Gervain and Marcos did not see each other all that time, all the 35 years. They see each other again on a pier. Gervain is so happy to see Marcos, wants to be friends again, let bygones be bygones. And then immediately gets stabbed by Marcos, who has been waiting for this for decades. And I'm surprised you didn't pick this line for your quote, but he says...
I thought about it.
Not across the line, my ass, Marcos spat.
Yep. Yeah, I thought about that one.
And many people think that this story, while doubtful in its veracity, confirms something they claim to know in their hearts. The Camorri are all God's damned crazy.
Yep. Yeah, that's a long time to be mad about that.
Yeah, enough to kill someone.
I mean, if you're so mad about it that you're willing to kill somebody, why wouldn't you just go find him and kill him? Why wait that long until they ask to make amends?
Or till it's convenient, I guess.
What? You better hide, because the next time I see you and it's convenient for me, I'm going to stab you.
Well, the Camorri think that the story demonstrates that revenge should be taken swiftly, or eventually, if not swiftly.
Well, that's not really very specific. It should be taken now or later.
Right.
I guess maybe what they're saying is you should be vengeful.
Yes.
I guess. At any point, that's convenient. Right now it is convenient for me to take my revenge.
Have you seen the show? Is that called Revenge? What's that show?
There is a show called Revenge.
I have no idea what it's about. I'm assuming it's about revenge, but
I've never seen it. Maybe there's a person and their name is Revenge and it's about that person.
Yeah, that seems likely.
Doesn't. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that there is a show called Revenge, but I don't know anything about it.
Next week, our reading, I'm going to tell you the name of the interlude first.
Okay.
Next week's interlude is called The Lady of the Long Silence.
Okay.
Anything? I'm going to tell you the chapter one after we talk about interlude.
All right.
Does that sound familiar to you at all?
I'm guessing by that question. Should?
I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure that The Lady of the Long Silence was a reference to one of the gods. I think maybe the goddess of death.
Okay, I was... Well, and when you said Lady of Long Silence, I was thinking temple. So maybe it is one of the gods.
I haven't checked, but I'm pretty sure it is.
So maybe this will be the interlude about Father Chain's death.
Oh.
Maybe we're talking about Goddess of Death, or... I mean, Long Silence to me sounds like death.
Right. Well, I know that all the gentleman bastards had to go learn and be apprentices for the different religions.
That's true. It could have been one of those times.
So I wonder which of them had to go sleep in a graveyard. Like Shadeshill in the tombs, like we learned in the prologue.
Hopefully not Gene. I don't think he would do well with that.
Oh, probably not.
Gene's like, nope, sorry, I got hatchet lessons. Somebody else is going to have to do it.
I'm busy that night.
Mm-hmm.
Ready for the chapter title?
Yep.
Chapter 11. At the Court of Capa Raza.
What?
Yeah.
Capa Raza?
Yep.
What? Who is that?
Who is that?
Nikki. Who is that? Should I know who that is?
No.
Okay. Is Barsavi dead?
What do you think?
I mean, there's more than one Kappa, right?
Not in Camorr.
Not anymore. So...
Barsavi is the only Kappa in Camorr. He killed the rest.
Raza? Raza?
Raza. Raza.
To me, that sounds like a female. Sounds like a feminine name.
Well, it's usually a last name. Because Barsavi's is the last name.
What's Falconer's last name?
We don't know. We don't actually know his name at all. Which is really smart of him.
What's really the Grey King's name, Nikki?
What is the Grey King's name?
What's the Grey King's name, Nikki? Could he really have gone to all that trouble just to be the Kappa?
What do you think?
Okay, if that's what that means, which I don't know. I'm extremely disappointed in the Grey King.
Oh.
Because I thought he was more intellectual than that, which we didn't get a lot about him anyway from this one little meeting. So I guess I thought that this sort of quest, or I don't even know what to
plan
call
of
it.
action.
Yeah. I guess I thought it was about more than just, running a city. Not even really running a city. Running the right people of the city. I mean, how much power...
It could be for multiple reasons. Maybe one is just a benefit. Because you thought so much about revenge.
Yeah.
So maybe it's multiple things. Maybe someone wants to be a Kappa. Maybe someone wants revenge. Maybe someone wants revenge on multiple people. And all this one plan makes it all work. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't read the next chapter. I mean, yeah.
Liar. Well, it seems to me that... It's a good possibility that it's the Grey King, but I'll be disappointed if that's what it is, because I guess I just thought differently. I didn't think that that's what his goal was.
Right.
But as we've said, we don't know what his motivation is, so how could we guess? It just seems like that's what you wanted, just to boss. Also, if that is the Grey King, it's stupid to tell people your name now after all this time, unless he's gonna show up and take over and not admit to having been the Grey King. I don't know. I really don't know where this is. Who else could it be if it's not the Grey King?
Maybe we learn Locke's real name. Locke Raza.
I feel like if that were true, you wouldn't have said it. So
maybe I'm just throwing out all kinds of things, and you can choose which one's correct.
Is this like 2 lies and a truth, or 2 truths and a lie, or whatever that game is?
Yeah.
I lean on the side of no for it being Locke.
Okay.
I don't think it's Gene.
Yeah, let's think about the different people that we've got. We've got Locke, we've got Gene. Other named people, Barsavi, Grey King Falconer. We've got the Black Alchemists. We've got Donna Vorcenza and Reynard. We've got the Salvaras.
Oh, I forgot about the Salvaras.
It's a distant memory at this point.
Nobody cares about your money right now, dudes. We're dealing with much worse.
So, what do you think this all means for Donna Vorcenza's plan to catch the thorn?
I don't think that Locke is going to keep going with the Salvaras.
Okay. Even though now they have 0 money. Everything they have is gone. What are they going to do? That might be a quick way to get back to where they... At least get back to where they can work jobs again.
I don't... I don't know what they're gonna do next. I don't know what's gonna happen with the Salvaras. Because that's true that it would be a convenient way to get some more money in their minds. We know that that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
But I'm not willing to think about them getting into more trouble than they already are. I don't want Locke to get caught.
I will tell you one thing about the rest of the book.
Okay.
There was a lot more big stuff that's going to happen.
Okay.
Because I know right now it feels like we're on our way down toward a resolution, but there's still a huge number of things that still are going to happen that are exciting and...
Yeah, I don't think that our story with the spider is over for sure. She's going to come up again. And she doesn't care, probably, that Locke can't deal with her right now because his brothers are dead. So, she's not going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were in mourning. I'll catch you later.
Let me give you some time.
Yeah.
Literally, I will catch you later.
Yeah, I will catch you later. Yeah, so... I think she's definitely going to come around again.
Do you think that's something that's going to be resolved in this book? Or will it have to wait? Like a long-term sort of thing.
I think it's more likely that will get resolved in this book than Locke feeling satisfied with revenge. I think that's going to last into more books.
Okay.
He's got a lot of people to track down. And some of them are going to be really hard to get to. So, I think that's going to take a while.
So now that you know Locke needs and wants revenge, we know that if he kills a bonds mage, that's going to put him in serious trouble.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen there?
Maybe he could disable him without killing him.
Oh, like how?
Mage? That's stronger? Just keep going up the chain! If they hadn't stolen all their money, they could hire somebody. But...
That's right, because in the chapter, they offered to buy off the assassin. He's like, you don't have anything.
Right.
It's all gone.
And I don't know really where the magic comes from. So is there a way to sort of squeeze the hose, to where they can't access it? If they could do that, then they wouldn't have to kill him, so it wouldn't send other people after them, but they could keep him from... Because we still don't know if there's more to his relationship with the Grey King than employer. Because if that's all it is, he can't keep paying him unless he has an unlimited amount of money, or unless he took all the General Ambassador's money and is going to pay the bonds mage with that. I don't know. It really seemed to me though that it wasn't about the money. It was about the people. But they still took all the money, so
why not?
Money's money, so...
Yeah, it's a huge amount.
Yeah. Oh, I want Locke to steal it back. That's where I want him to get money. I want him to go get his own money.
Okay.
That's what I want. I don't want him to go steal somebody else's money. He just needs to go steal his own money back.
And what we said before, at least with our math, we figured it out to be about 1.8 million.
Oh, I thought it was more than that. But yeah, definitely a lot.
I think by the time they finished this, it would have been... Maybe that's what it would have been at the end. But they had made over $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah. He and Jean need to find where the Grey King lives, I guess. And they're going to have to start following him and figure out who works for him and following them. It's going to be hard for Jean and Locke to find the people that work for the Grey King. Because the Grey King is very good at hiding. But the only way they're going to find those people to kill them, is to figure out a way in. So they're going to have to do it. And, I got a lot of faith in these guys. They're going to figure out a way to make this happen.
Let's talk a little more about the Grey King.
Okay.
Do you think he's from Camorr? Do you think he's from somewhere else? Somehow he's connected to people here, it seems like. Do you think he has been possibly living in Camorr this whole time, preparing for this? Or that he went somewhere else and became the Grey King and then came back? What do you think his history is?
I always sort of had it in my mind, and I don't know what it was based on, that he's come to Camorr recently.
Okay. When
he started, this plan. But it also seems likely to me that he has been there, he has spent time there before.
Okay.
I don't know if he's
hometown or something?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe he went to college and came home. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he's from Camorr. I wouldn't be surprised if he was, but I think he's been gone a while and came back.
Okay. So what are your predictions for the rest of the chapter? I know what you want to happen. What do you think is going to happen?
The rest of the chapter?
Or, sorry, the book.
I think Locke and Jean will probably find some of the Grey King's men.
Okay.
And murder them.
Obviously.
Possibly with torture.
So the Saw, basically, it's going to become Saw.
Well, they also might use the torture to get more information about the Grey King and where he is, and the Bonds Mage, and where he is, and weaknesses, and,
do you think,
that sort of thing.
Do you think that would work? Here's why I ask. If I am a criminal, I work for a man like the Grey King, who has a Bonds Mage for him, would I rather let someone kill me, or would I rather let the Bonds Mage and the Grey King find out I had betrayed them? God knows what the Bonds Mage would do to me.
Well, I think that they're going to be killed at the end, whether they're tortured or not.
Right.
So I think I think there are not a lot of people that can be tortured and not break.
Yeah, that's true.
I think because Locke, to think that Locke is going to torture them humanely, is probably not accurate. He's not going to be nice about it. He's not going to lay off. He's not going to feel any sympathy for these people while he's torturing them, if that's what he's decided to do to get information. So he's going to do whatever it takes to find out what he needs to find out. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't know if he's going to put somebody's head in a bag of glass, but he might.
Oh, God. I would never
hope he doesn't.
Through torture.
No, I don't, that's the thing, too, that this is going to make Locke ugly. It's going to show a really ugly side of him. Revenge does.
On his soul.
Yeah, revenge does that. And that
is
makes
he going to be Inigo
sad.
Montoya?
Actually, Inigo Montoya, he wasn't. I didn't dislike him for wanting revenge, and he didn't kill other people. He was only going for the one guy.
True.
But I think Locke is going to systematically go through a line of people. He's going to kill a lot of people, and that's going to make him.
And this
different.
time, very purposefully, unlike before.
Yes, it's going to make him a different person, because you can't go through that and not change. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting to imagine the before and after, because Locke before, when he killed a lot of people, it was not only indirect, but he didn't understand the consequences. At one point in the chapter, I remember he said, when I was young, once I was old enough to understand, I was ashamed of being a murderer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But at this point, he understands what it means.
His intention is to be a murderer. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And that is a very conscious decision that he has made at this point. And that, it's not just I was in a blind rage and I killed someone.
Right. No, it's not going to be that.
It's totally premeditated.
Yeah.
And that's very different from accidentally causing people's deaths. And I think that really changes how you feel about yourself.
Yeah,
I talk about this like I have had this happen to me.
Right. Because before I murdered a bunch of people, I was a way different person. Yeah. I also, too, worry about Jean, because I think that he's going to want revenge as much as Locke. I don't know if he's going to be willing to be as brutal.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to change the relationship between the two of them, I think. I mean, I don't want it to, but
it's fascinating to think about the fact that while Jean is the person who is trained in fighting, he is their protector, their physical protector. He's going to have a very different relationship to these upcoming events than Locke, and a very, I'm not going to say less violent, but I don't know, I'm having a hard time describing exactly what I mean. It's easy for him to kill someone, and maybe because of that, it means a very different thing to him than Locke. Because for Locke, it is harder to kill someone.
Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking that, Jean is more sensitive, and I don't know how he's going to react to Locke, saying we're going to go out and kill a bunch of people. On the other hand, even though Jean has learned to control his temper, he still has a temper. Yeah. And he might let his rage take over so he can do what he has decided needs to be done also.
And he's learned so well to control his temper. It makes me think of that, I don't remember the exact saying, but it's something like, make a good man angry and you've really crossed a line. Like, that is when, or make a calm man angry. That's when you are really in a world of shit, basically.
Well, and you maybe cross a line with him that he loses the control that he's held, and you can't come back from it. I mean, eventually you can, but somebody's going to get hurt. People are going to get hurt before he's able to bring it back, maybe.
Can you imagine a Gene with his training and his ability with an uncontrolled temper of his childhood? That is terrifying.
Yeah, I mean...
That is something nobody wants to see that. That's so scary.
Yeah, and you know, that's what he was acting like when his parents were died. That's what he was acting like when his parents died, before he had the control. And now it's people that were as close to him as his parents were.
For even longer.
Right, and so it's like a trigger.
Yeah.
Losing the brothers is going to be like a trigger, and he might decide he doesn't want to control it right now.
Any other predictions for this book or the next?
I think we're going to see some more of the spider for sure.
Okay.
And Reynard? Is that what?
Reynard.
Reynard. Yeah, he'll probably be around too if the spider is. I think there's a good chance Varsavi's going to die.
Who do you think is going to kill him?
What?
Who do you think is going to kill him?
Oh.
We have multiple options. Not just the Grey King. It's a possibility.
I suppose, but I don't know who else cares enough. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think Locke will, because Locke doesn't really have a beef with him, and also he could use him, you know, as a ally. Jeez.
Yeah.
He could use him as an ally.
Well, not just the Grey King, but we've got the Falconer. I mean, who is going to do the actual physical killing of Varsavi that you think is going to happen?
Well, the Grey King has been pretty he's been pretty removed from the actions that he's putting into motion.
Yes.
So it seems more likely that the Falconer will do it on the Grey King's demand.
It just made me think of the most recent Viking episode that we watched with Horik making Ragnar do his dirty work.
Yeah, but Horik's not even paying Ragnar.
Last minute crazy wild predictions. Is Sabbatha gonna come back and save everyone?
I forgot about Sabbatha.
Is her last name Raza? Could it be?
I hope she does show up. Now would be a good time for Locke to have somebody in his life, you know, somebody else that loves him.
Yeah.
And cares
about him.
Now
that he's lost half of the Gentleman Bastards.
I wonder...
And you said more than half, but she counts.
That's true. I wonder if the Grey King knows Sabbatha.
Oh.
Because...
I mean, I'm sure he's heard the rumor of them breaking up. That's all over town.
Okay, but if he doesn't know who she is, could she be used against him?
That's a very good question.
Because she's a gentleman bastard too. She knows how to, you know, do... I don't want to say tricks, because that makes her sound like a prostitute.
To turn tricks. It's Pretty Woman up in here, and the Grey King is Richard Gere.
Yeah. She knows how to run cons, I believe.
Yeah, I would think.
And so maybe she could get close to the Grey King somehow.
Oh.
If she would ever just come home. Maybe she will now if they get word to her that the twins and Bug are dead. Maybe she'll come back at the very least to pay her respects.
That'd be a terrible thing to be so far away from everybody and then get that news.
Yeah. And wish that you had been able to be there because maybe you could have helped. Even if you couldn't. Just to feel like... And I'd also like to see her relationship with Jean. Is it like a brother-sister thing, too? Which would be nice.
It would be nice.
It would be nice for Jean. Definitely. So, maybe this is what will bring her back.
Okay. That's our episode. Please leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps spread the word about our shows. You can follow us on Twitter at SomeCheek and Facebook.com/SomeCheek.
And listeners, you can visit our website to learn about our other podcasts, send us questions and feedback, and support the show through our Amazon affiliate link at somethingcheekypodcast.com/Amazon.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Dig-a-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.